So how has it been for you? How have you felt with your timeline? Have you had to dip into your toolkit? That's fine, and that's absolutely fine if you've done that. So great work on working on your timeline. Now, what I'd like you to do now is revert back to your workbook, and you can either use some highlighter pens. So in this case, what I'm going to ask you to do is to go back to your timeline, go through all of the events on your timeline. What you're going to do now is you're going to rag them. We're going to create a rag list. So almost a list of highest importance to lowest importance. You might say to me, why do you do that? All the stuff on my timeline are really important. It's things that have happened to me. Well, actually, what we're trying to do for your hippocampus is we're trying to sort them out in relevance and in order. And by rescheduling them, shuffling them around, looking back at them, it's almost like, I don't know if you've watched The Matrix, but when you see all the numbers float and they all fit together, that's a little bit about what we're doing. We are urging your brain to think differently about these events and to reorganize all of the information and data. And that's how it date stamps it. So what I want you to do is I want you to use red for the most important highlighter. These are the things that are definitely needing to be worked on. They are super important. Then I want you to rank the second lot, amber, so important but not as significant. And then those that have, when you've gone back to it and you think about it, actually on a scale, green, they're not that important. So what we are doing is we're organizing the reds, the ambers and the greens. And what will happen is your brain's going to go, oh, well, that event wasn't as bad as that. And that's not as bad as that anymore. And now that I think about that, actually, that's not as bad. That's the process we want to take your brain through. And that's exactly the process I do with my clients when we're in my office and we work one-to-one. You can do that yourself. In fact, that exercise, they do themselves. So again, take your time, go ahead, work through it, do what you need to do with that exercise and work through it. It's really important that you do. Now, in your workbook, underneath your rag list, there's another exercise I'm going to introduce you to today. And this is, it's really, really powerful, and it's really good to work through when you get stuck on something and you can't leave it, or you're at work and it keeps coming up, or someone said something to you, or your partner's not been very kind, or your friend said this, or you just feel something about yourself. It's the page that says choose one event from your timeline and add it to the box below. So take an event from your timeline, but it doesn't have to be. This can be an event that has happened to you today or yesterday. Write it in the first box. What I want you to do is I want you to think about what is this thing, what belief has it created for you? Because that's what we do as humans. People say something to us and we create a belief around it, like, my friend shouted at me, so I'm not good enough. My boss argued with me today, so therefore I'm not doing my job very well. Those are the belief systems we create. So this event will create a belief system for you. Write it down. This is a very, very empowering exercise. Then I want you to move to the next box and say, well, what emotions has this created for me? Well, I'm not good enough. My friend told me, my friend shouted at me, I'm not good enough. My boss told me I've done argued with me today. So I'm panicked now. What if he fires me? Or what if my friend doesn't want to be my friend anymore? Can you see how you are spiraling? How your anxiety is spiraling? And this means that we need to work on your anxiety management plan better. Then the next box is, what thoughts does it give me? So these are the ones that sit on your shoulder, that come up when you're watching TV. No one loves me. I'm not good enough. Think of a whole host of things. And then what behavior has this driven you to? Well, actually, I'm going to need a glass of wine now because I feel X. Or I'm going to go and run 50 miles. Or I'm just going to go to the gym for 5 hours and tire myself out. Or they think I'm too fat, so I'm going to stop eating. And then what bodily sensations has this led to? Like, have you been crying? Have you had pain in your chest? Have you had pain in your hands, in your joints, etc.? So that is an amazing exercise to do, and one that will help you calm down those thoughts that shouldn't be there. And then I want you to now revisit your anxiety management plan. You may feel you're more activated. You may feel that actually you need a different toolkit. I want you to do that for me today. So revise your anxiety management plan, listen to what your external world is telling you, and do something about it. Okay, so this has been a really, really big 2 weeks for you, or it's going to be a really, really big 2 weeks. So make sure that you complete every step of it. Give it your best shot.